What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I'm here today to unveil a brand new segment on my channel that I'm going to refer to as Celluloid Grave Robbery. This is going to be a segment dedicated to talking about movies, Blu-ray discs, cult classics, and whatever movies I happen to be into at the moment. Now, during this whole crazy pandemic time we've been living in, it's caused a lot of people to get into new hobbies or find new things to get enjoyment out of. And of course, me being into music, that's really no big deal. But there's something else I've been wanting to get myself dive deep into, and that is, of course, movies and Blu-ray discs. Knowing from experience, I love movies. I love horror films, I love action, I love animated movies, and of course, since upgrading to a PlayStation 4, I figured if I'm going to be playing games, I may as well have movies to watch, since it is a Blu-ray disc player. Eventually, in due time, I want to upgrade to 4K and get a 4K Blu-ray player and eventually get 4K discs. And of course, if you've seen recent video uploads of mine, I have a brand new big screen 4K UHD TV. And I think it's one of the best decisions that I've ever could have made in my entire life is getting a big-ass television. But the focus of this series is primarily going to be related to horror movies, cult classics, and like I said, whatever movies I happen to be getting into at the moment. And we're going to kick off this series with a movie straight out of 1989, and this is definitely a cult classic horror film in my opinion. Today we're going to be talking about Intruder. Yeah, this is the 2011 Synapse Films release of this film. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo director's cut. Now, I'm not going to be too detailed in talking about these movies or reviewing them or go in depth like I do with music. I figured since a lot of you may be into movies, you may know what some of these movies are. But for the hell of it, I'm just going to read off the bio that's on the back of this DVD and give you some little thoughts as I go along. It's 10 p.m. and the employees of Michigan's Walnut Lake supermarket are in for a really bad night. The place is shutting its doors for good, and the night crew has a long shift ahead of them. Longer than they think. The lovely checkout girl has a deranged ex-boyfriend, the store's phone lines are cut off, and the employees start dying on the most stomach-churning ways imaginable. A deranged killer is on the loose in the grocery store. Can anyone stop this murderous intruder? Yeah. Funny little backstory about this movie. I don't remember who exactly posted about it, but the thing that caught my attention was that this was a horror movie that had SpongeBob SquarePants production music in it. And when I found out about that, I looked up the clips from this movie that had the certain music clips and song cues that you definitely would hear in SpongeBob SquarePants episodes, and that really lit me up and I was all giddy about it. But aside from the production music, the movie itself I think is really, really crazy and entertaining. Because this was a film that had a lot of people that were making names for themselves in horror movies and the movie industry in itself. Like you have Sam Raimi, who of course you know from his work with the Evil Dead franchise and the Spider-Man franchise. He is an actor in this movie. He has a bit role, and he has a brother. I believe his name is Ted Raimi. He also has an acting role in this film too. The director and co-writer of this film is Scott Spiegel, who, if I'm not mistaken, co-wrote Evil Dead 2. And of course, the producer of this film is Lawrence Bender. Of course, he's gone on to do a lot of work with Quentin Tarantino in the later years. But as far as Intruder is concerned, this is a very, very funny, darkly comedic, but overall brutal horror movie, showing you some really, really great practical effects that still hold up very well all these decades later. Of course, you can't talk about Intruder without talking about the infamous bandsaw kill that happens later on towards the film. I think it's very, very well executed, and it's definitely something that makes you cringe, even having to see it because of how realistic it almost looks. But it's a really fun movie. It's very well paced. I definitely appreciate the entertaining acting that comes with this movie. And of course, there are a lot of red herrings that get dropped in this film every now and then, giving you an idea of who the killer might be. And once things begin to further develop, you'll probably be like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is he doing this, you know? But yeah, Intruder is fun. This is a really entertaining movie, and I believe it is currently streaming on the Tubi platform if you live in the United States. I was originally going to get the Full Moon DVD version of it, but then when I noticed that there was a Synapse Films version of it, I think it's very cool, and not to mention, the Synapse version doesn't have the killer emboldened on the front of the cover, because some of the artwork on other copies of this movie have the killer and they spoil everything. And I feel like if you get the Synapse version, you won't be too spoiled then. But yeah, I'll just show you the contents here. I love this artwork here. Half a guy's head in a grocery bag. Very, very entertaining. Back of the disc with credits and information. This is probably the best I've ever seen this film look. I've always seen streams of this movie and YouTube rips, but this is the best looking I've ever seen this movie. Especially the Blu-ray, the fully restored unrated transfer. There you see the double disc set here. This one is the DVD, and this one is the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is very high quality. The extras are very good, too. You got a good commentary track by the director and producer, making of featurettes, extended footage of the kills in this movie. You get to see a little bit more of what's going on here. Very over-the-top horror film, and I would highly recommend it if you're into late 80s horror and any other great stuff like that. So, if you've ever seen this movie, let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it, and we can go from there. And I'm looking forward to talking about more really cool cult classic films on this segment in the future. So, I'm going to conclude this video. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, Armijo out.